Okay, we're going to have a look at saving procedures of Logic and what you need to take with you, what will come with you, what won't come with you, etc., etc. So when we go to save as, let's look at the choices it offers us. First of all, how do I want to organize my project? Do I want it to be a package or do I want it to be a folder? So obviously a package is just going to be one file. That doesn't mean you can't go inside the package and look and see what's in there. It's just if you want a clearer view of everything, especially like having nice bounces folders and all that kind of stuff, the old school folder way is quite useful for that because it will make you a project file, an audio files folder, a bounces folder, a freeze files folder, a fade files folder. But if that's a bit much and you just wanted to put it all together, you can have a package. So if we call this package onion, as I like to, okay, and we save that. Now at the moment, it's just going to save the Logic file. It won't save anything else. We have to tell it what we want to save with it. So what do we want to follow? We want to copy all audio files over. That's a given, really. That's like an automatic. But most importantly, if I make an EXS instrument and sample, or I have a suspicion that the EXS instrument and sample that I'm using is from some pack that might not be on another computer, I will save them down together. Okay? So that's going to save all the instruments and all the samples that you're using in the whole project. You can't make a differential between an internal like library one and one that you've made, but it will save them all. Okay? Now, Alchemy audio data, you only need to click that if you've added your own audio into Alchemy. Do you remember when I was doing Wavetable and I shouted onion and put it in there? I'd have to save that file. And so therefore it would have to be included. Okay? All right so far? Now, Ultrabeat samples. That doesn't mean that any standard Ultrabeat sample won't automatically come back up. It will. This is only if you put your own samples into the Ultrabeat. So the Ultrabeat has a particular mode called drag and drop samples. Well, to be honest, let me just close this for a minute. So let me show you what I mean. So in some kits on here, you'll find that there are samples down the bottom. Ooh, steady. They're in here. They're samples. You can drag and drop samples into this and then layer on top of them. And you'll also find that there is actually a kit in here called drag and drop samples, which is just a blank canvas for you to drag and drop your samples into. Okay? If you do that, you need to save those samples with them, like so. If you don't put any of your own samples in and you're just using the factory stuff, you don't need to worry about that. Okay? Space Designer impulse responses. Now, this is a bit deeper, and we haven't really gotten to the reverbs of impulse responses yet, but basically an impulse response is a sample of a place that somebody has basically either let a gun go off or burst a balloon or clap their hands in a space to create a reverb. And then that reverb is loaded into the Space Designer to emulate that reverb sound on any sound that you use. Okay? So if you make your own, and you will probably have to do that in acoustics, you'll have to make your own impulse responses, which is fun, trust me. Go and find weird, echoey places and record them and stick them into Logic. Then you need to save them down. Okay? Otherwise, you don't need to worry about it. Movie file, it is what it says on the tin. If you're editing to a movie file and you want the movie file to save with the project, then you tick it. Include Apple Sound Library content. Now, there are levels of sound library content. You might be aware that if I go into download, there is a download section, sound library. You see this? Yeah? Now, that means that there are different amounts of the Apple the sound library that could be loaded onto different machines, if that makes sense. Yeah? So you might have one machine which has got the basic setup on it and one machine which has got all of them singing and dancing, soundtrack stuff, like loads of stuff. So if you're not sure, include it. Okay? Now, it will automatically include all of them just in case, which is a bit bizarre. Okay? But you really only need to do that if you're using a lot of Apple Sound Library stuff that is not necessarily your standard stuff. Like you may have downloaded extra packs. If that's the case, then you tick it. Okay, I'm going to make one of each of these. Bless you. So let's just save that down. So let's go and find it. Now, this is always a good trick. If you want to find where the file is, right-click on the project at the top, and then it takes you to the folder and shows you the root under where it's living. So I can just click that and open it up. If I want to look inside, I go Show Package Content, and it shows me these 3 pages. Now, alternative means alternative backup saved versions of the thing that you're working on. So that's quite handy if something's gone wrong and you need to go back and look at an autosave. Those are all the autosaves. Okay. Media, media is what it says. So there's an audio files folder which has got nothing in it because I'm just using an Apple loop, but there would be stuff inside the audio files folder. Yeah. If you freeze a file, which we haven't really looked at yet, but freezing basically means turning a track into an audio file so the audio file plays back instead of all the plugins on the thing, then those get saved there. And this is essentially the program itself is the resource. Okay. So that's looking inside a project. As I said, you have the option, and you could just go and save as, and then choose folder. And then when it makes the project for you, let's replace that. Then now when we look at it, it lives as a folder called project with a file called project. And those folders that are the ones that were in media are now gettable without going inside a package, if you see what I'm saying. So whichever way of saving is more comfortable to you, do that. Okay. Any questions? Cool. Lovely. Okay. When it comes to audio files, as long as you go add all audio files to this, so all audio files, it should copy everything that's in your media area over here, should copy all of that into the project for you. So it should pull them from wherever they were taken from and put them all in there for you. Okay. I don't really want to go any further with this. There are, for now, I think that'll sort you out. But basically, there are ways of doing things like making alternative versions and stripping out and consolidating, which basically means take out any unused audio files so you can make your project smaller. We're not going to do that yet, but we will cover that at some point. Okay. All right. That's the first one in the back.